How's it going, everybody? Okay, I've just gotten off of the mountain and I'm here in my apothecary room, and I've got to get to making the plant allies we gathered into a tincture. And this one's all about St. John's. Now you guys might have just got done watching my video where I made a super high quality rambling about St. John's Wort up there on the mountain. I'm crazy tired. I'm coming to the tail end of my my June shop update. See, I couldn't even remember the month. And that means I've been packing orders for like 2 weeks straight, so my brain is just fried. But we still have work to do. We still have to get out here when these plants are alive and thriving and like at peak harvest time. So we ran up to the mountain to harvest some St. John's Wort for making tinctures and body oils and such. Now you should be making all of your tinctures with fresh plant matter. I mean, really, I go out of my way to do so, or I don't do it at all, for a lot of reasons. But as far as St. John's Wort goes, you absolutely have to make her tincture out of fresh plant matter, and that's because we are after the Hypericum, and that is the red substance that's in her. So one way you can tell that you have St. John's Wort and that, you know, you're pretty sure you want to like double down on your ID is you take a bloom like this and you're gonna smash her in between your fingers. Alright, now look, my fingers are red. And that is from that Hypericum. I always say that word wrong and I'm so tired, but I'll spell it in the description. And you'll be like, oh, okay. But anyhow, so you want to catch that property when it's fresh. Actually, when she is cured or dehydrated or dries, it evaporates off. It's not present. You will not get that super bright red tincture. And so we're going to make a tincture. We're going to make a tincture. We're going to make a tincture. All you need is a jar that you can fill pretty much all the way up with your plant matter and some 100-proof vodka. So if you can't find 100-proof vodka in your state, get 80-proof vodka. It's better to go below than it is above. What's above? Grain alcohol. And grain alcohol will kill you dead. In fact, if you are going to have an adverse reaction to a plant in tincture form, odds are good it's because that tincture has been made with A, grain alcohol, and B, dried plant matter. It's just a bad combination. It does make for a stronger tincture, but what it actually does is it puts you more into like the pharmaceutical realm, like where you're only extracting the plant's most volatile properties. Because the cool thing about 100-proof vodka is this bottle is 50% water, 50% alcohol. So that means when I dump this over my plant matter, I'm going to have an even blend of water-soluble properties and alcohol-soluble properties. So it's not that complicated, and there's no math to do. You don't have to, like when you make something with grain alcohol, you have to do all this crazy math to make it safe for consumption, and even then it's not safe for consumption, which is why grain alcohol is illegal in most states, because you can literally poison yourself with it. Vodka, you can have a really shitty like hangover, but you would have to drink quite a lot, you know, to give yourself alcohol poisoning. But grain alcohol, you don't even have to get drunk to kill yourself off of it if you drink it consecutively enough. So all that stuff aside, I'm tired, but I'm going to get this done. I'm just going to take my plant matter here, and now you can chop it up some, but it's a delicate bloom. She's going to extract pretty well. And when I'm making a tincture, I like to make, you know, majority of its blooms. But you don't have to worry about getting blooms only. I see some people go crazy spending just hours and hours picking nothing but the blooms, but we're after whole plant medicine here, so like the rest of this plant is valid to use. You know, just make sure that, you know, it's in a well bloom, and you can see I'm cutting pretty low below the bloom. I mean pretty high up close to the bloom. I think either term works. Oh goodness. So sometimes these videos, I'm probably like, you know, I'm exhausted because I'm working and I have to, I'm not going out just to make these videos. These videos happen like while I'm making. So like, yeah, it's 105 out. And right now I prefer to be naked and like not wearing anything and just laying there next to a fan. But I have to get this ally jarred up and tinctured while she's fresh. Especially, you know, with St. John's wort. Now, what's she good for? A lot of people know her as an ally that's used for depression. And I would definitely say she's sunshine in a bottle. She can help lift low moods. But I really like her for pain relief, internally and externally. And she's also pretty cool at helping repress viruses. Like, you know, like colds and flus and stuff too, but like she really shines at like HSV and HPV, you know, like herpes type viruses. And if you double down and you're using a tincture internally and the oil externally on the affected area, it can really, really stop outbreaks from happening and lessen the severity of the ones that do occur. So a few things we should probably talk about is like, if anybody knows anything about St. John's wort, it's the fact that you probably, you know, have heard that you shouldn't use her internally if you're taking medication. And I agree. I agree. There are some people who think that she's safe to use internally alongside of all medications so long as it's a fresh plant tincture. And for a long time I agreed on that. But if you watched my my other video where we were meeting her in the wild, I talked on how I attempted to use a tincture that I made with fresh plant matter while I was on benzodiazepines, which is like anxiety, like Xanax, Klonopin, things like that type medicine. And it threw me into benzodiazepine withdrawal on a dangerous level, because the thing with benzos is you can't just stop. You need to go very slowly and taper, like liquid titration style, or you could really, really hurt yourself and or die. So that was not fun. So I now no longer agree that tincture made with fresh plant matter of St. John's wort is safe to use internally if you're on a bunch of over-the-counter medications. But it depends on the medication. And the cool thing is St. John's wort is really well studied because of that ability of hers. So all you have to do to find out if you can safely use St. John's wort tincture internally if you're on a medication is literally Google St. John's wort and then the name of your medicine. And you might have to do a little bit of reading, but you'll be able to see. Odds are good you'll be able to see if she makes your particular medication inactive in your body. That aside, she's amazing for pain relief. Like if you if you like have sore muscles, bad back, hurt yourself, anything like that, you start taking a dropper full every hour, every 20-30 minutes or so. You probably by the time you're in your third or fourth dropper full, you're not going to be in much pain. She is pretty good at lifting moods too, but again, I think she really shines more at repressing viruses. And I see a lot of people try to use her for anxiety, but I don't think that she... I mean, maybe if your anxiety is caused by your depression, but that's like a chicken and the egg situation. Is my anxiety caused by my depression, or is my depression causing my anxiety? You know, and so I don't think she's the best ally for that, but she is definitely like mood lifting, you know. Now, I don't agree that taking St. John's wort internally will make you photosensitive. I do not agree. I do not agree with that if you're making a tincture with fresh plant matter. I fully 100% agree that she will make you photosensitive, meaning you sunburn easier if you are taking a tincture that is made with dried plant matter. The chemical constitution has changed. She's not the same. Not all of her properties are present. So what you saw me do was dump 100 proof vodka over the top of my fresh plant matter. Now I put a jar on it. I put a jar on it. Well, I put the two things together and now it won't leak. Ah, God. So now I'm going to label what she is. I make my own labels. If you've watched my tincture videos, you've probably seen me talk about this a million times, but if not, I go and buy those like Address Avery labels, and I use their free online label designing program that comes with whenever you buy their labels. But you could just use masking tape. Anything you can write on is fine. I don't like to write on the jar itself. Sometimes I used to write on the lids, but the thing is sometimes these will seep a little bit of alcohol, or you're moving things around, or you're writing over and over the same thing, and you don't want confusion to happen. So just use something that sticks right to the jar. So I'm going to write on here what it is. So St. John's wort. And then I'm going to write that there's 100 proof vodka. It's always 100 proof vodka, but I still write it down. I have to make batch numbers, label numbers, you know, things like that. So I have to create this type of stuff. I'm going to check that it's tincture. I'm going to say the date began. I'm going to check wild crafted. I'm going to put where I got it from. You know, and you don't have to put all the information on there, but it can be handy, because like maybe you're like, wow, I feel like that tincture was more effective. I feel like that oil worked better. I feel like, ooh, maybe that one I didn't like the way it made me feel compared to the other one. And then you can be like, oh, well, I gathered that here, and, you know, and so, you know, like it's kind of neat, you know, to really have that information. And so now I'm just going to stick my label on here over the other one that I hadn't peeled off. But that works. And now I'm just gonna sit this in a cool dark place for 6 to 8 weeks, and she's good to go. That's it. And if you forget about her, it's okay. Alcohol doesn't go bad. So long as you have this lid on tight, you're fine. She's not going to evaporate off. She's not going to ever go bad. Alcohol doesn't go bad. And so that's really neat. And look, it's already turning red. See that? Isn't that so awesome? It's like a magic trick. If I shake it. Hold on. I'll do the full magic trick. Look at that. Already red. Isn't that neat? By tomorrow, it will be vibrant red. So what's happening is the alcohol is extracting the Hypericum. Said it right that time. and it just extracts it, and so it's going bright red. And that's the same stuff you saw when I crushed the bloom between my fingers. So that's how to make a St. John's wort tincture. If you want to know like what St. John's looks like, you know, go find my other video, and like you can hear me ramble about her a bit there too. She grows pretty much everywhere. She's an invasive. There are a few different kinds. The only one that is medicinal is the one that's classified as a weed. And I'll have her full Latin name in the bio as usual. Hypericum perforata. That's what it is. Didn't say the first one right, but I got the second one right. I know the names of the plants. I just suck at pronouncing the Latin names. So like I can type it out, but pronouncing it, just my brain and tongue are just like, no, we are not allowed to speak Latin. But anyhow, so there's a few ornamental ones that grow like shrubs near people's houses that get little berries on them. And I've been getting that question a lot from people sending me pictures because it says Hypericum on it. They're like, oh, look, it's the it's St. John's wort. I'm like, no, it's just a plant in the family of. But she's invasive, and I really like to work with invasive plants that are medicinal, because you don't really have to worry about how much you're harvesting, because you are like doing your bioregion a favor. And here they're particularly bad, and they are killing off a lot of our bighorn sheep because they eat it and they can't digest it and it kills them and all that stuff. So the more I harvest, the more I help my environment. And then I'm making like good plant medicine too, so it's just pretty cool. Anyhow, you are smart enough to do this. You know how to do this. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to learn how to do this, okay? You don't. You are smart enough to put some plants in a jar and dump 100 proof vodka over it, alright? So, if you like my videos, even when I'm crazy tired and tripping over words and not pronouncing shit right, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. This will help you know when I'm posting stuff, and so you don't miss out. It also helps other people find me. And speaking of that, if you are sure to like my videos, comment on my videos, share my videos, that really helps get safe, simple stuff like this back out to people, and people learn that they can do this on their own. you can do this on your own now. You now know how to make a St. John's wort tincture. You don't need me anymore. You can make that tincture all on your own. So, and then come find me on Instagram. I love to hang out on there. I'm very active. I don't just talk about plants. I talk about all kinds of stuff. I'm pretty raw, pretty open there. And come find my website, learn more about me, come engage with me, talk with me. I talk back. I really do talk back. And you can find all of that stuff by checking out my bio here. So, all right, I'm gonna go strip off my clothes, cool down, and then cook some dinner. So I will see you next time, okay? Bye.